Welcome to another episode of Tamra Simon's Live and the Real Estate Power Chat. Today's guest is none other than Brent Bowers. Guess what, guys? This is an investment agent that is unlike any we've ever had on here. We're talking land versus homes. But as you know, first things first.
This is Tamra Simon's Live, where real estate agents from around the globe come together to grow, collaborate, and expand their business. Where we take our inspiring conversations and put them together to create dynamic connections. This is the Real Estate Power Chat.
Well, I am so excited to have Mr. Brent Bowers of the Land Sharks on with me today. So thanks so much for joining me, Brent.
Let's go.
Yeah, right on.
Victory bell heated up. I mean, that intro really fired me up. That's what I needed. I was dealing with a little jet lag, but I'm ready now.
Right on. Well, first off, I want to thank you because you're an Army officer, and I want to thank you for your service. And I think that's just the way to start this off. But I'd like you to give my audience just a brief intro of who Brent Bowers is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real honest. I'm no one special. Honestly, I barely graduated high school. I tried real estate in 2007. I was a big quitter. 2009, I threw in the towel. And I thought maybe joining the military would be an easier career. And I wanted to go back to school, and the Air Force wouldn't even take me. So luckily the recruiter there was nice and kind enough to say, go to the Army. They'll take anybody. So I'm a coachable student. So I did. And before I knew it, I was off the basic, then AIT, then Afghanistan for a whole year, and then back for a year, and then back for another year. And I got the heck out of the military because I was tired of being away. 8.5 years in the service. I was maybe in my own bed 4 years of that. Like, I was gone a lot. God bless our veterans and our military members out there, because having a family while in the military is the hardest thing I've ever done. My first marriage didn't work out, and I went for a second try. And before, when I started seeing history repeat itself, before that could go downhill, now there was babies involved, kids. I was like, I'm getting out. And I found land investing. I found the passive income of the money coming in every month. I buy this land super cheap, and I turn around and sell it on payments. And that gave me so many freedoms, financial freedom, because I really just had to cover my expenses each month to get out of the military. Then I was like, holy cow, this gives me time freedom. And then we moved. Like, we can live anywhere in the world. And I'd love to talk about all those things that land has provided me.
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm really fascinated by the land versus home. And as you know, before we got on camera, and I was telling you, I mean, I've been in real estate a long time, and this is different from any other investing that we typically hear about.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the top 3 reasons why you love land.
Oh my goodness. All right. The top 3, I kind of just mentioned them there. But who's buying land right now? Like, I don't claim to be the smartest person ever. But the guys I've seen on the news since I was in elementary school, some of the most wealthy people, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, like these huge companies right now are buying land. And I believe success leaves clues. So one of the number one reasons, my top reasons, is it gave me financial freedom. And what do I mean by that? Is like, my first land deal was $285 I purchased it for. I had no clue what it was worth. And I called a real estate agent, and she bought it for me for $5,000, like literally the next week. So I was like, my brain was broken. I was like, there's no way that this could be that easy. So I bought a second parcel. This time the land was landlocked, not accessible, right? Like garbage land, right? No one would think that's valuable. And I personally didn't think it was valuable. So I put it on Craigslist for $500 down. That's what I paid for it, and $400 a month. And that one gave me like payments for a while. I was like, holy cow, I'm covering my truck payment. Like that was covering my truck payment. And then it hit me. I was like, all I need to do is do this 10 more times and I'm financially free. So one, financial freedom. Two is the time freedom of getting all those payments. I'm paid multiple times a day now from land. Like every single day we're paid from a land payment. And these guys, these buyers, they're not like tenants. They never call. They don't have anything that ever breaks. There's nothing to break. There's no unexpected expenses and contractor repairs and sewer lines that go out and like furnaces that go out and air conditioners that go out and roofs that leak. The list goes on. And then I would say finally, geography freedom. There, you can do this anywhere. Deals are everywhere. Land is everywhere. And I mean, we just got off. We took almost a whole month of March off. I just got back from Arizona. We were traveling out there, and then we're taking 6 weeks off at the end of June to go to Costa Rica. Like I never had this opportunity before. I feel like I'm like I don't know, so wealthy because we could just do whatever we want whenever we want. Like now, granted, do I still work? Heck yeah. Like I work. I love working. I love doing this, but we play pretty fun as well. We play hard.
Well, you work hard, you play harder, right?
That's right. Yep.
So how long have you been doing land deals?
Yeah, not very long, since 2016.
Oh, wow. So it's relatively new.
Yeah, it's new to me and I'm still a student of it. I've made a tremendous amount of mistakes. A lot of them were very stupid looking back and thinking to myself, holy cow, how did I make that mistake? But I was also, working my W-2 job. I was serving the military and I had a position. I was an Army officer. So I was working like 13 hours a day. So I was just making a lot of decisions very fast. And I think that's one reason why people are not successful is they get caught up in analysis paralysis. They think they got to know the answer to everything. But here's the thing. Like there's a reason why your headlights on your car only go a couple hundred feet. Like you'll eventually get to where you need to be to see what's coming up. Like let tomorrow's problems be tomorrow's problems. Just worry about today, and I just kept failing forward and taking, massive, violent, imperfect action. It doesn't have to be massive action. I hate that saying, honestly, now that I just said it. Like you can take small daily steps. Like as long as you're doing something each day, like we call them small daily wins in the Land Sharks community. What's the win today? I want to pick my market. I want to pick a playground. The win tomorrow is I'm going to figure out where the land is in demand. And then the win the next day is how much is this land selling for? And then the next win, like all these wins will turn into $22,000 a month coming in land payments.
Now that's fascinating. Now what is the Land Sharks?
Yeah. So I'm wearing a shirt. I love the Land Sharks. And it was a community I created about 2.5 years ago where I train other people to do what I've done in land. And it's so amazing. Like I had no clue. I was training people how to buy and sell land. I had no clue they were also going to train me because I get to see what other land investors all around the country are doing. And I just so happen to be the head of it. I teach people how to do this. I teach people how to, buy and sell vacant land and make a crazy profit doing it. How to set up the systems that I use, exactly how I pick a market, exactly how I market to landowners, and exactly how I have, 15,000 land buyers beating down my door waiting for me to find them a piece of land.
Wow, 15,000. That's a crazy amount of buyers just for land. I mean, do you find that there's no competition there or is there high competition? I mean,
I'd say there's virtually no competition in this business because HGTV hasn't made it sexy. Like we drive by land every single day and we don't look twice at it. I used to be the same way. Now I do. I look at all the land. I love land. But we drive by it every day. We don't see a dirty, old, stinky cat pee house on it that's run down and condemned and code violations and high grass and graffiti and the blue tarp on the roof, or mobile home parks or storage wars, I call it, because we don't see a way to make money because there's nothing on the land. But if you get that land at a discount, which 99 out of 100 landowners are not going to sell you their land at a discount. It's still a numbers game.
mm-hmm.
But you get that land at a discount and sell it to someone for a little bit more. At the end of the day, it's that simple. Like, we don't have to make this complex. Like, people love to make their businesses complex. And that's why most businesses go out of business. It's because they got too complex. Like, keep it simple,
Mhm.
keep it super simple.
Now, how do you find all of the land? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not in your because you're talking kind of global. So where do you find the land? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, and real estate's very micro. Things are different. Go 7 miles in my town, things are going to change. It's the same thing with houses. It's the same thing with land. I'll leave it at that. But basically, like, I have some students that make a fortune in their own backyard. I have some students that are stationed in Korea. I have a friend that's literally living in Belgium, flipped 180 land deals in Florida last year or in the last 12 months. So you can do this from overseas, you can do this from down the street or in your own backyard. But I like, when I'm just teaching people how to get started, go where you're currently at, grow where you're currently at. Go on Zillow, go on Redfin and see where the land is selling. That's how we find our markets. That's how we see where the demand is at. Like, I can probably go get land in the middle of nowhere in the desert for like pennies on the dollar, maybe even free. I've gotten land for free almost 10 times, by the way. You can get land for free, but that doesn't guarantee someone's going to want to buy it. But
Mhm.
I go where the solds are happening. Where are the solds? Like, where can you see the solds? Zillow, Redfin. Like, we're talking to real estate agents. Like
Right.
these guys have multiple listing service access. So once you see where the demand's at, now you want to see the land size parcel that's in high demand. Like, what size parcels are these? Half acre, half acre, half acre, 3 acres, half acre, half. Okay, half acres looks like it's pretty hot. Now we need to go towards a list of landowners that own half acre parcels in that area. And we send them a beautiful letter. It's basically a purchase agreement. We call it the land offer letter, LOL. And if anybody wants a copy of that, we've been triple split testing this exact land offer letter. And you won't believe it. It's super simple. It's a purchase agreement that they can sign and send it back to me. And now I have a purchase agreement where I can buy their land at a massive discount. But if anybody wants a copy of that, just go to thelandsharks.com/LOL. And yes, it is also stands for laugh out loud, because like, we get crazy deals and people sign this. So we pick the area where there's demand. We figure out what's in demand. We send letters, that LOL, to landowners that own that land. Now, again, not all of them are going to say yes, but it only takes a couple.
That is amazing. And I love the LOL. That, I mean, talk about throwing that in there. Land offer. What was that? Land offer
Letter.
Land offer letter. I'm going to definitely have to check that out. That's awesome. So your coaching agents, are you coaching them through the Land Sharks?
Yeah. It's called the Land Sharks community. I also teach people on TikTok. Every day I do a video on TikTok, how to make money in land, because again, there's no competition. Like, no one's talking about this. Like, Bill Gates is buying land. Warren Buffett's buying land. Why are these billionaires buying land? I know there's more behind it, but I'm doing it at a very small scale. You don't have to be Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. Like, the banks don't lend on most of this, right?
Right.
And some people are like, well, why would I buy it if the banks don't lend on it? Well, I like becoming the bank. For some people, that might be scary. But what do banks do? They make a ton of profit, and then they re-lend out that profit. So going back to banks not lending, so the sellers know that they're going to have to do two things, because not everyone's walking around with $50 or $100 or $200,000 to buy their land. So they're going to have to either give me a good discount, like a cash price, cash discount, call them lowball offers or whatever you want to call them, or a discount with terms, aka their seller financing, seller carryback. They allow me to make payments to them. Sometimes these sellers literally, they want a higher payment, but they'll give you 0% interest. We call those principal only payments. And on the other option, since banks aren't lending, I get a down payment and a documentation fee, and my buyer pays me payments every month for this land. So I'm ultimately becoming the bank myself, and I'm getting interest on this land. We're getting a monthly note service fee. So I'm becoming the bank, and these guys never call about any problems. So you could scale this. It's like unlimited scalability.
Well, what I'm hearing is residual income.
Yes, there we go. Better word. Residual income.
I like it. Well, because seller financing going into the market that we're in right now is going to become an even, higher commodity, let's say, because interest rates are higher, there's stricter buying guidelines. So it makes sense, if someone's wanting to purchase land, but they don't necessarily want to live on that land, you're giving them a different option.
Exactly.
It's a business in land.
Exactly. That's it. It's that
That's
simple.
awesome. So now, I like the fact that you can scale this. Now, if you're wanting to scale, how would you go about hiring, say, a team to help you build this?
Yeah, I do this on a very small team. I have one acquisition manager. I have an executive assistant. I used to have an outsourced bookkeeper, but now I have a bookkeeper that she just works for us. And that's it. Like the first hire should be an executive assistant. Everyone like wonders like, who should my first hire be? And I love the book. I think Michael Hyatt wrote it, My World-Class Assistant. That gave me the confidence to hire an executive assistant. And it's crazy. I actually did it backwards. We had, I think, grossed almost $3 million and I didn't have an executive assistant. And I'm like running around. I'm like getting up at 4 a.m. just to pay bills and all this random stuff. Like business sucks. Like I hate this. Like I'm doing all these things that are draining my batteries and looking at spreadsheets and trying to figure out my books and my accounting. And I hate paying bills. And then I was like, oh my God. And I ran across the World-Class Assistant book by Michael Hyatt, hired an assistant. The first one didn't work out. Oh my gosh. She was a train wreck. And she was referred to me, by the way. So I hired a second one, and luckily she has saved my bacon. But building a team doesn't have to be difficult. I say find someone that will help you with the things that kill your batteries, like what drains you, like at the end of the day, what you do not like doing, and find someone that likes doing that stuff. Which there's weird people out there like that. There are people that like accounting and spreadsheets and paying bills, and that's not me. So I found that weird person to help me out.
I like that. I found that weird person. I have a team of weird then.
Yes, we should. Like I'm telling you, like it's just, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you at certain things. And there's a reason why they're smarter at it than you, because they enjoy it and they geek out on that stuff. Like I just bought a surfboard. So I'm like checking out how to surf now. Like I'm like about to buy a course in it because like my wife thinks I can't surf, but I want to show her.
I love it. Now, I was reading here that you, obviously you have dedication to veterans. And how can veterans get started in this style of real estate?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So like I said, I was working 12, 13-hour days. I was actually preparing for my third combat deployment. And there's a reason why I built this. Like, as again, I was running from fear. Like people are motivated by either towards pleasure or away from pain. And I was going away from pain. Like I didn't want another marriage to fail this time. There was babies involved and I had to figure something out. So you talk about building a team. If it wasn't for virtual assistants, I found my first virtual assistant on Upwork.com. I think it was called something back then in 2016, but I read a great book by Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Workweek. And I learned the power of virtual assistants. But I'm working like 13 hours a day in the military. I'm having to get up really early to build my business. I'm having to stay up late and the baby's keeping us up all night long. So I did it with like no sleep for a while. I really had to grind. But let me tell you, like, I was trying to wholesale houses, like assign contracts with houses, and I was spending a lot of money on mailing, and I would go to the field or to train, and I wouldn't be able to take all those phone calls. But when I found out how to start sending purchase agreements to land sellers, I could get back to them at my convenience on the weekend at midnight, 4 a.m. because I had to be on base by 6 a.m. So I started training myself, go to bed early so you can get up 2 hours every morning. And I was building this business with roughly about 2.5 hours a day. So I would do a couple hours in the morning, And then I would also do like my lunch break, 30 or 45 minutes each day to return phone calls. And there was a time, like I mentioned, going to the field where I wasn't able to make those phone calls. So I found someone on the Nextdoor app to help me return those calls. And her name is Jen Way. April 2016. We actually just, what is that? 78, 9, 20, 22, 7 years. So we just had our 7-year anniversary. She's been working with me. And now she has her own farm, all these things. So this is the best business. I think this is the best business for veterans because it allowed me to replace my monthly income with land income. And it allowed me to do it at my convenience. So I'll leave it at that.
That's key right there. I mean, merging your two worlds.
Yeah.
and getting, and getting time with family, because I mean, we don't work for nothing. There's always a reason behind why we're trying to excel.
Yeah.
So this just gives you that time freedom back so that you can do what it is that you really want to do.
So true. And let me further hit on that, veterans, because I think so many people in the military, they see it as I can only do military right now. And I was the same way. I was hiding what I was doing. I really was, because I was so afraid, like, because Army officers, you're not supposed to have another business. So I was breaking some rules. Hopefully they don't come back and get me for saying this. But I was hiding it. But I just had a friend that just got out. He's a helicopter pilot. And he's like freaking out. Now what do I do? He texted me yesterday. I think I better start doing land because I'm going to have to get a job. I'm going to have to get a job or start doing land. But so many military members, like they put it in boxes. I will start my next career when this career is over. But I knew I was getting out in 2016 when that first baby came. Like I knew I was getting out. So I had 2 years, 17, 18. I had 2 years to get off that runway and I had to get it up. And the first month I was out, May 2008, I haven't had a job since May 2018, by the way. That first month of May, that first month I was out, I had a $55,000 net profit month. 55,000. I literally thought I had won the dadgum lottery. And I thank God. I was like, thank you, God. I made the right decision. And it worked out. So, but I couldn't imagine not having this lined up already because I had 2 kids at that time. I didn't want to be homeless again.
Yeah, you got to feed the babies.
Yeah, I was homeless once. I don't want my wife and my children to be homeless again. So,
and why do you think, besides the fact that veterans, can be kind of have that tunnel vision and not really
puts that in our heads, like,
yeah, I mean, you just kind of stay focused on where you're at. What is the best way for them to say dive into this? Should they drop over to the Land Sharks?
Yeah, you can go to thelandsharks.com, schedule a call, check out my TikTok, Brent L. Bowers 1, Brent L. Bowers, and yes, L stands for land, Brent L. Bowers 1. I teach people how to do this on TikTok. So yeah, start educating, start taking action, start building those small wins. Because here's the thing, you could be getting out in 3 years, you could be getting out in 3 months. Today is the time to start taking action. Like, when's the best time to plant an oak tree? 20 years ago or today? There's 2 best times.
Right on. So I'm totally fascinated here. But what do you think has been your key to success with this?
I don't even have to think about it. Just taking action. Just taking action. I never have all the answers ever. I just know that our feet move forward. Like when we walk, we're falling, by the way, but our other foot catches us. When we run, we're falling a little faster. So just take the steps. And you're like, man, I'm not taking any steps. Well, get out and take a walk. Like, start blocking time in your day to create the life of your dreams. Like, I have a student, his name is Will Lowry. I quote him all the time. I interviewed him on my podcast, the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. And he said, me and my wife spent our weekends creating the life that we dreamed of rather than taking our weekends to escape the life that we actually have. So start creating the life of your dreams right now, every weekend, on your lunch break. Like, you don't have to eat during your lunch break. Like smash a sandwich in your mouth and get to work. Like you only need like 3 minutes to eat, like, or snack
Well,
during the
and
day.
everyone's on TikTok. They just need to drop in and take their lunch break with you.
That's right. And I'll tell you, like, be very careful about consuming. Like, I'm on all these social media platforms and people are like, oh, yeah, did you see that on Facebook? Did you see that on Instagram? Heck no, I'm not looking at anything else. I'm only creating. So be careful, like, what you consume as well. Like, use it for your education, but like, there's really cool things called libraries. No one cares about them. They're free, right? But take that knowledge and combine it with power, and combine it with action, and that's where the power comes from.
Absolutely. Now, top 3 books that you would recommend people read.
Oh, the first one off the top of my head is the Bible. The second one is, I'm just going to pull it off my shelf. Who, Not How.
Dan
I read
Sullivan.
Dan Sullivan, Who, Not How. And the third one is The Wealthy Gardener. The Wealthy Gardener. I don't have that on I loaned it out. Never loan your books out. If you want it back, don't give it to somebody else.
Okay, so we've got the Bible and Who Not How and The Wealthy Gardener.
You're right. And I would say
I'm going to
Bible.
quote that in the podcast. So
love it. Bible first, then The Wealthy Gardener, then Who Not How. So there's always a
right
who.
on.
You don't need to know the how.
No, you learn that along the way, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a pretty powerful concept. So where does Brent go from here? What's next on Brent's list?
Yeah. Right now I'm trying to teach more people about the amazing opportunity that I've stumbled upon. And thank God I heard someone on the podcast talking about doubling their money in land overnight. And I was like, no way, that's that easy. So where I'm going next is I want to educate more people on how to take the action, how to do this. We're bringing someone into our program that he's going to use this to fuel mission trips. What he's doing for, God's glory. So the more people I can train to do this, the more people can quit their jobs they hate. Actually, like the other day, my son was like, Daddy, can you come have lunch with me at my school? And I was like, man, heck yeah. Like I never would have had the opportunity to do this a couple of years ago. It's like, what do you want for lunch? He asked for McDonald's. I was like, oh, okay. But I still went and got a McDonald's, but brought his friend lunch. So I got to have lunch with him and his friend. So if I can create more of those opportunities for other dads, like the teachers think I'm some bum. Honestly, I literally just shaved finally and got a haircut. I think they think I'm like some like internet millionaire, or because they think I never work, or I'm just some lazy bum. Honestly,
But you're creating memories that your kids will never forget. I mean, he's never going to forget that you showed up to have lunch with him and brought him McD's.
yeah, heck yeah. We got in trouble too. The teachers got onto us for being, or not. I wasn't being too loud, but the boys were being too loud. So things like that. Just go and get in trouble at school again. It's been a while.
That's great. That's great. And I think, we get so focused on our businesses that, those little small moments like that mean the most, we lose out on.
That's right. And like, I didn't get into this business to become a multimillionaire in real estate. Did it happen? Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about business people and visionaries and creators is we keep stacking more on our plate, more and more, more. Like I want to do more land deals and bring in more students. And before I knew it, I was working more hours for the land sharks and my land company and my team that I was building than I was in the military. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't get into this to become another slave to another job. So I actually compressed. We closed our office. We rented out our office. I, laid off a few people that just were literally sucking my energy. And, we just I had to rebalance basically. So that's a really good point, Tamra. Like we got to remember why we started businesses. Do I want to be like Steve Jobs or Amazon or Walmart? Heck no. You might think you want to be, but that's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because you have no life but business.
That's it.
There's no planning trips. There's no enjoying those small moments that we only get because kids grow so fast. Yep. And if we're not there, we miss it all. So I think it's important to touch on that. Um, Now I have to touch base because I'm a huge Bob Burg fan.
Oh yeah. Oh, The
And
Go-Giver. I
I
forgot the
was
book.
reading, how you choose to live your life based on the quote
Yeah.
from Bob Burg. And I would love it if you would just kind of touch base on why you chose that quote.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot The Go-Giver. So a mentor of mine had me read it many years ago. It was like a requirement. And Jen Way, I mentioned her. That was my requirement for her to come join forces with me. But the go giver, not to be confused with the go getter, is really to seek out like what can you provide for that person, whether it be a seller or you're networking. Like I hate networking. Like people hand me, and I'll tell you, I'm gonna bash on real estate agents right now.
There you
Like
go.
if you hand me 10 or 15 of your business cards, guess where they're all going? Like I'm going to throw them away. I won't throw them in the parking lot because it's littering, but I'm going to throw them away because like you think I'm going to walk around and just hand your business cards out for you? Like who the heck are you? Maybe change it a little bit and say, hey, Brent, how can I provide value? How can I add value to your life? Or what can I do for you right now? Like if people would change that attitude when they're networking based on the go giver, like how to provide value to someone, like goodness gracious, you won't need to give me 15 of your business cards. Like I know I just went on a little rant right there, but like seek to provide value, like seek to understand, like how do you provide value? And only one person per networking event. Like a lot of real estate networking events, like everyone tries to talk to 10 people and you don't know any of them. It's like
Right.
speed dating, but you don't ever like get married type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean that's one thing because I love their whole outlook. I love Bob's outlook on networking with other people because you're not there for you. You're there to see how you can help other people and build other people's businesses up or themselves. And in return, it always comes back.
Oh yeah, I got to reread that book again. That's another one of my mentors. Just I was out in Arizona. They asked him what book he was reading. His name is Brent Daniels. He's the owner of Wholesaling Inc. He said, "I'm rereading The Go Giver." I know he reads it once a year, so
Yeah.
it's just like what an amazing book. If anybody listening to this has not read it, holy cow, it'll change your life. It's a great Audible listen to. It's like a story format.
Well, and I like that they did it themselves on Audible. They didn't have a narrator, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
So like I listen to it on Audible and then I read it at least once or twice a year just because I never want to forget certain aspects of that book
Yeah. Such a good book.
because
Thanks for bringing it
it's
up.
all about value. It's all about value.
Yeah. So true.
So I really appreciate your time today. And what is one thing that you could just throw out there to my audience? Doesn't matter what it is, just anything off the top of your head that you can think of.
Yeah, I want to keep talking to the person just trying to get started in real estate. Whether you're trying to become a real estate investor or an agent, is figure out those steps you need to take today. Like, because at the end of the day, it's not about your big to-do list or just it's about just getting those small wins each day to get you that closer to your goal. So it's just something each day, and do it preferably before 10 a.m. in the morning. Like forget who says it now, but Brian Tracy said, eat the frog first. Well, what is a frog? It's that thing you're afraid to do or you're think that's going to be hard. There's a reason why the military has us work out first thing in the morning because the rest of the day is supposed to go downhill, like be easier type thing. So eat the frog first and take steps each day because we all overestimate what we can do in 1 year's time, but we really underestimate what we can do in 3 years' time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And we'll make sure that everyone has Brent's information on Land Sharks, his TikTok, so you can reach out to him. And thank you again, Brent. I really, really appreciate you being on the show and loved all of the value drops.
God bless, Tamra. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Oh, absolutely. And until next time, guys, we'll see you soon.